What's going on, everybody? This is going to be your review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Was it season 13? I forget the episode. And oh crap, hold on, wait a minute. Let me. Oh, my bad, Drew. Okay. Just gonna breeze through this. I will say before I even start this, it seems like this is going to be the Drew and Ralph show. That's really what I'm getting, which is upsetting because it really seems as if no one else is really giving anything. And what Drew and Ralph has given us, I feel Kenya and Portia, for the most part, should be giving us from their respective relationships, but whatever. But we start out with Cynthia. So it's Cynthia, Mallory, and Kenya. They are doing yoga. Cynthia is not consistent with her yoga. She is also not flexible, as we can see. They discuss the wedding stuff, which we all remember what happened in the previous episode. And it's the whole wedding versus marriage. Which one does Cynthia want? And Mallory even brought it up and said, "You said I don't know," and that's not a good answer. And Kenya also agrees that's not a good answer. And then something that you don't see in reality television, actually it happened twice, but it really happened right here, and that was the breaking of the fourth wall. Because Kenya pretty much said, "You're doing this for the show." I was like, "Oh, oh," but I think this is where you can see they're actually friends. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, it actually that's kind of some fight word. It's like if that ain't your friend, like what the fuck is you saying? But because she was even just saying like, the day coincides. You want this big wedding for it to be filmed and all this other stuff. And Cynthia's looking at her like she wanted to slap the dog piss out of her. And Cynthia pretty much said, like, I am not doing this for the show. Let's be clear, because Bravo did not tell me that I needed to have a wedding, a relationship. They didn't tell me that I needed to get divorced, so whatever. But I'm not going to say that I fully agree with that, because you can kind of see with amongst all the franchises when people have what I like to consider forced storylines, because even with Real Housewives of Potomac and I'm gonna be nice since this is not their review, but Robin Dixon and Juan Dixon, the whole them getting engaged, I'm sorry, that was for the show. It truly was for the show, not because I don't feel that he's there, and it was being pushed real heavily, and that started last season, but we got nowhere, and that's literally all that we got from Robin and Juan was just that. And then when you get to the reunion and still not even having an idea of when your wedding date is going to be, problems. So you can't tell me that they didn't say that Cynthia, because here's the reality. Without this, what storyline does she have? Now, yes, they got married. It wasn't filmed, so it's kind of a loss for her. And now you're suing your ex-husband. Which, again, she has every right to do that. If somebody owe you money, get your money, okay? Like Apple Watts saying, I love me some Apple Watts. This bitch is Apple Watts. This bitch is Apple Watts. I love me some Apple Watts. She said, run me my money or run me my fade. Run me my money the way I get paid. Nigga 3 and 10. Y'all need to go ahead and read it. But anyway. And it took all of this for Cynthia to finally understand what Mike was trying to say, which I think she understood. She just didn't care in the moment. And I think now that you have your sister and your friend, hounding you at the same damn time, I guess it was like, okay, let me just fall on the sword and say, okay, yeah, you know what, okay, I understand that. But I think she already understood. So whatever. We get to Candy and Kenya. They're having lunch. They rehash the previous scene. So then Kenya wants to throw a surprise engagement party for Cynthia, and she wants to make up for almost ruining the proposal. But Kenya wants Candy to invite all the girls, and Candy caught out and was like, "Okay, it seems like you want me to send the invite, because if you do it, half the girls ain't gonna want to come." Which I'm like, well, Candy was being very astute. Kenya brings up Portia and shades her, saying it seems like she just wants to get locked up. Now, I did say on my last review, not this, but I did say the whole them blocking traffic thing. I don't agree with that. Like, to me, that's not peaceful protesting because you're blocking innocent people from getting to and from work, to and from here. Like, that right there, you're granted, yeah, you're disrupting the peace, but you're disrupting regular people, which means if you get run over or hit, can you really be mad? You feel what I'm saying? So I think that might have been what Kenya was saying. I don't know because Kenya didn't clarify. But she shaded Portia nonetheless. Kenya brings up Latoya, possibly trying to take advantage of her when they were at her house and they were taking shots. Okay, we'll see where this storyline goes. So now we get Drew and Ralph. So Drew brings up that they've done counseling before, both couples counseling and individual counseling. They were given homework to do, and Ralph wouldn't do the homework, which says a lot. And based off of this counseling session, if anything, he needs intensive counseling because there was a lot that wasn't said. I don't know if it was chopped up. No, it wasn't chopped up because he said his. We'll get to it. So they're told to list 2 to 3 goals. Drew says transparency, more or less. Let me know where you're going. Like if you're going to the store, if you're going to get this, if you're going to Tampa, and it's like, okay, Drew, sweetheart. One of those things is not like the other. Like I got it. If you want him to say, oh, I'm going to the liquor store or I'm going to the gas station like that, really, if for some couples that constitutes a hey, I'm going here. But yeah, if you go into a whole nother state, my nigga, yeah. And the whole him leaving for 3 days, all I can say is I can understand that because there have been points in times where I've had to leave a situation for a day or two to collect myself because sometimes staying in the same house with a woman is not always easy, especially because some of y'all women love to chase after a man when he's like, okay, I'm done talking, but you ain't done getting your point across, so you gonna follow him into the next room, want to put fingers in the face. I might be talking to somebody. Look, if the shoe fits, put the motherfucker on and wear. But I'm just saying. But where he fucked up is not telling her, yes, I was gone. I apologize. I was gone for this many days. I had to cool down. This is where I went. Boop, bop, boop. He didn't do that. So, yeah, you looking real kind of fucked up, dude. She also said peace. And then she wants genuine love for her 9-year-old, who I believe she said was 3 when they got married. And she wants him to give him emotional love, which I'm going to be very honest, that is very hard for most men. But because I'm African American, I can speak as an African American man. It's hard to display, especially when African American men are raised, whether it's in a 2-parent home or not, to not show emotions. And especially for a lot of us millennials and Generation Y, Generation Xers, we tend to pull a lot of that from the silent generation and from the baby boomers of not wanting to discuss things, like my pops. I still don't definitively know what my father has suffered with in his last years of living because my father don't say shit. He going through something, you're not gonna know it. You're not gonna see him sweat. You're not gonna see him cry because in his mind that is weak. That has thus been passed down to his children. I don't necessarily believe in that. I am going to talk through my emotions and let you know what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, because I've learned when you aren't able to articulate your emotions, then rather than that being your first go-to is going to be lashing out. Sometimes, manipulative, whether it be verbal or emotional, or sometimes it is physical. Where's the lie? So she wants him to give what he doesn't have, which is understandable, but it's going to require him to do some extensive counseling to break down those walls for him to be able to talk through some of these emotions, and him being very passive aggressive as fuck. And then she also wants equal love between her child outside of their marriage. So I should say before the marriage, and the children they have within the marriage. She wants him to love all of them the same, which is understandable, but this is also something that should have been discussed before y'all got married. I mean, look, they got married within 6 months. Who am I to judge? But These are things that should have been well established before. That's why you have premarital counseling, amongst other things, just to make sure things go smoothly. So Ralph says he wants respect and sex, and I'm like, okay, I guess. And apparently, her wanting transparency in terms of wanting to know where he's been, I guess in his mind, equates to disrespect and being emasculated, which is weird to me. But hey, that's his feeling. I ain't got nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to be emasculated, and then even says that she does it to him because her mother did it to her father. Which I kind of wonder, how the hell do you know that? But whatever. I do feel part of that was a bit of deflecting. And let's see. Drew is trying to explain that particular situation between her parents, and Ralph laughs as she's explaining and gives her like a soft little, shoulder swipe, because he said that he felt that maybe she was about to cry, which was some complete and utter bullshit. But the whole him laughing, I initially equated to nervousness, because I sometimes laugh when I'm nervous, or if I'm upset. Like, I'll sometimes use laughter to mask another emotion that I'm not trying to display at that time, especially given the particular company. But then I'm like, no, no, that laughter was more or less because I saw this right after, is he enjoys seeing her in pain. It's like he gets his rocks off on that. I'll explain right now. So the therapist asks Ralph to give his background, and he gives it real swiftly. And it's one of those where he's one of those people that he'll say it so fast where it's almost like if you're not paying attention, you don't catch certain shit. I'll give it to the therapist though. She caught what I caught, because I didn't think she was gonna catch it. But he says that he was raised in a single parent household, which in him saying that, like, that was part of him justifying the bullshit that was about to come right after that. He felt that he had to be the man of the household, which I would like to know if his parents instilled that into him, because if that did, then the parents are at fault for that. Because one thing that tends to happen in the African American community, I'm finna talk to y'all for a second, and this is what I do. That's why y'all call me Yocrates. I'm finna give you something for y'all to take home with you, marinate on it, baby. But what we tend to do is we tend to force our children to grow up too fast, where they can't enjoy their childhood, where you got to be like, look at little man, look at this, and putting a whole lot of adult adjectives on children, which we need to stop doing that. Like, let the child be a child. Don't call them little man and little mama. Like, no, don't do that. This because doing some of that, a lot, like, that stuff registers in the subconscious, and for him to have to feel, because here we go with gender roles, him having to feel that he had to be the man of the household as a child, kind of forcing you to mentally have to grow up, and where you're missing a whole lot of developmental shit within your childhood. So for those of y'all who doing it, y'all need to stop it. But anyway, he said that his mother wasn't affectionate. There's some stuff there that needed to be unpacked, because then the question is going to be, why wasn't she? I could be honest, my mother wasn't that affectionate for me, but that is because she recently, like, I was born, my parents divorced when I was 2. So at this point, she still has 3 children in the home. By the time I got up and moving around, my eldest brother was then out the house, so it's just me and my middle brother. So here's my mother having to take care of 2 children, a teen and an adolescent. And she had to go back into the workforce. So she would get up at, like, what, 5 in the morning? Between 5 and 7, she would get up. No, lie. She would get up at 5. She would leave the house at 7 to make it to work by 9. Get off work at 5. And then do everything back in reverse. So and most of the time, she would go shopping immediately after work. So she's not home until like 8 o'clock at night. And then she still had to put dinner on the table, which probably didn't happen until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Saying all that to say, my mother did not have the time to sit here and give me the affection that I felt that I needed, because she's out having to sit here and work hard to keep a roof over our head, keep these buildings that she inherited after her parents died, amongst other things. So I understood it, and it took me getting older and understanding. Yeah, you work 8 hours a day and factoring in traveling to and from work. Yeah, you probably not gonna have the time to really be affectionate to your children. Understandable, but I felt like it was some shit there that needed to be unpacked, and the therapist didn't do it. But that, or we didn't see her do it. But that's not here nor there. And then he said because his mom didn't appreciate what he was doing, which leads me to believe that he went and got a job and was fun in bringing money back home. He pretty much said to her that, you know what, I'm going to move in with my father and we'll see how you fend. So because you're upset that you're not getting what you feel that you want from her, he knew that me leaving and living with my father, which something happened between the parents, because I think that there was some betrayal there for her, and it also broke her. Like, damn, my son is leaving me, and then she eventually got evicted, and now she's down and out. And I believe he said that his father at one point had lost his job, but in the process of his mother, being evicted and whatnot, is when she finally was able to offer him an apology. And I was like, huh. But before I could say it, excuse me, the therapist says to Drew, so can you now see why your husband felt the need to leave for 3 days? And right there, that is a parallel. But again, that says a whole lot, because I initially thought, okay, he left for a couple of days just to calm down, which, given how everything was going, I could see that being a thing. But that wasn't the root of it. The root of it was to hurt her, to break her down, and to glean from her something that he felt that he deserved. So you feel that you deserve an apology and all this affection and all of this extra, but she doesn't deserve to know where you've been. She doesn't deserve for you to talk to her in a to talk to her without being passive aggressive, without being narcissistic, without being manipulative. This nigga's a piece of work. He is a piece of fucking work. And I ain't a fucking therapist, but trust me, I done seen a thing or two, been through a thing or two, experienced a thing or two, so I know a thing or two. Y'all just gotta walk. Look, I might be 34 years old, but I'm an old soul. Trust when I say I've been here before. So Drew begins to break down, and this nigga smirks, and it infuriated me, because if this is someone that you love, why are you laughing at the fact that they are in pain? So at first you laughed at her being in pain. Now you're smirking because she is literally breaking down, and then the therapist had to coach him to be like, dude, she's breaking down. What should you be doing now that she has broken down? I'm like, I can't. I can't. Like, just watching that one particular scene was exhausting for me, and I can't see how long I've been talking on this, but I can tell you I've been talking on this for quite some time. Again, this is the Drew and Ralph show. So Lauren is on the phone calling the women. She is planning a surprise party for Portia. She, if I'm not mistaken, she called and invited Cynthia and Candy. Marlo was with Candy, so Marlo's invited Candy, Cynthia. Candy wanted to invite Latoya. Cynthia was asking for a plus one, which would be Kenya, because Kenya wasn't invited, and Kenya was initially not invited. But Mallory said, you know what, yes, you can bring this plus one, just make sure that you know she ain't on that fuck shit. So we get Drew and Ralph. Ralph's father had a heart attack, and he has thus passed on. And the whole entire time, you can see that he wants to display emotions, but you can see that he is truly ensuring that he does not show these emotions, and rather than live in this particular moment, he kind of goes back to their relationship, because this isn't something that he really wants to deal with. So you can see that he will use another situation to avoid something that is really messing with him, something that is really triggering him. Again, he needs intensive fucking counseling. So Portia, Marlo, and Tanya meet up. They discuss Portia's separation and him guilt gifting, because that's what I call him. but we're not getting none of that. Which the activism part of what Portia is doing, I am here for. But I've said it before, and I will say it again. I feel that she's partially using this as a storyline. Not say that she's not out there fighting the fight and she's genuine with it, but I feel that she is using this as a storyline to keep from discussing what is going on in her personal life. Yet at the same exact time, I will agree with other people. I really don't want to see her and Dennis go through it for another season because we've already seen it. So I'm very unexcited about that shit. So, and Marlo and Tanya are pretty much just keeping Portia preoccupied for the party. So Lauren is apprehensive about Kenya coming to the party, so she tells this to Cynthia. Cynthia calls Kenya while she's getting her makeup done and said that she wasn't invited. Before she said that Kenya said that she got Pilar, which is Portia's daughter, a Rosa Parks doll, which I think is cute, but at the same exact time, because it's Kenya, I feel it was some shade behind there, because you're giving Pilar a African American historical figure while her mother is out doing protesting for social justice and whatnot. I felt that was shady. Y'all let me know if y'all felt it was shady. But Kenya is upset that she wasn't invited, and she breaks the fourth wall by turning to production saying, "Did y'all know about this?" And it was like, "Well, we just found out about it because it just came up like right now in this scene." So she's upset, and it's gonna come up in the next episode. And yeah, the what is it? Activism appreciation party happens. Um, and all that I really have to say is two things, and the second thing is probably going to piss y'all off. The first is Latoya shaded the fuck out of Fallon. The way her name is spelled is crazy. Shades the fuck out of her because her husband is, I believe, 56, and I believe he has 4 or 5 kids, and she had 3. And she's like, "Well, you look like somebody that would date older men." I was like, and the fact that Fallon let that shit slide by, but you know what? Good for her. But I will say that I'ma just say it. Just the little speech that Portia gave during her party, it just didn't move me to chorus. Like, I got it that she's out there fighting for social justice. It's just that it didn't move me. And that's it. That's my review. So I hope y'all enjoyed this review of the Ralph and Drew show. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys for the panel tomorrow. All right. Peace.